We all know that good old high-revving Formula 1 engines have a very specific sound. It is very hard to create a close-sounding engine, as there is a lot of factors affecting the sound. The F1 is extremely oversquared and revs over 15,000 RPM, but if one can reach similar high-pitched sound note, the resemblance cannot be neglected. Honda CBX. A task given to a chief engineer, Soichiro Irimajiri, was to create a 6-cylinder street bike based on a 1960s GP model RC165. The result was the Honda CBX with 6 cylinders in line, with the valve train in the middle between the 3rd and 4th cylinder. It was only 2 inches wider than a 4-cylinder sibling and only special engine-wise, nothing else. Mazda 787B. The 787B is a very short-living project which on the other hand got an extreme popularity thanks to its oddness. It is the only rotary-powered car to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and until 2018, the only Japanese car to win the race. The engine was a 4-rotor with 12 spark plugs. It had completely variable intake trumpets and peripheral port design, actually capable of 900 plus horsepower. Porsche Carrera GT. At the end of the millennium, Porsche was willing to continue racing either in Le Mans or Formula 1. Therefore, there was a V10 engine built secretly for this purpose, later enlarged up to 5.7 liters. As Volkswagen bosses worried that it would compete against Audi, the engine with aluminum and titanium parts was accommodated for a street car. Toyota Century. The Toyota Century was no sports car, nothing on it was. Neither the engine was based on something meant for racing, but anyhow it is a 12-cylinder. The V12 always sounds exceptionally awesome, and the Century is a nice example that there is only a good exhaust needed to create an F1 sounding car from a limo. Mercedes-Benz S600. Whether it is a W140 or W220, find an S60 that has a naturally aspirated 12-banger and put a proper exhaust on it. Just like the Century, the V12 sings beautifully, but the S600 is too much quiet in the stock form. For a reference, it was the M120 engine. Ferrari F50. The engine of the Ferrari F50 was a fancy one. Aluminum heads, forged pistons, carbon fiber variable intake manifold, or forged titanium conrods. It was sourced from an F1 monopost, the Ferrari 641, enlarged by 1.2 liters. It was very high revving, but Ferrari got it on the next level with the F50 GT, where it produced 750 horsepower at 10,500 RPM. McLaren F1 GTR. Originally, there was no intention to race this F1 GTR whatsoever, according to the plans of Gordon Murray. The goal was to make an ultimate road car, which however appeared in various GT events and managed to win 24 hours of Le Mans on very wet conditions. The race spec was much lighter, but at the same time almost 30 horsepower down because of a mandatory air restrictor. Ferrari FXX Evoluzione. The FXX is a special program by Ferrari, where a customer does not buy a car only, but various additional services on top of that. The car is only allowed to drive on Ferrari-approved tracks and must be looked over by Ferrari technicians. The FXX is actually based on the Enzo, with the engine upgraded from 660 horsepower up to 860 horsepower in case of the Evoluzione version.